welcome back to my channel. It is Laura Whittle and we're back for 2025 Halloween. So we're kicking off this year with what could possibly be the most viral toy collectible item of the year, a Labubu. Hopefully I won't end up looking like a Lafufu. I'll let you be the judge of that. I've been making the props for this look already. I've got the whole little clips of those step by step how I did that, which will be in the video. So if you like what you see today, please hit the subscribe button. Drop me a like, a comment, and hit the bell to be notified every single time that I upload. You can also follow me on my other social media channels, which are in the description below. Let's hop right into it. So we're starting out with some cardboard to create the ears. I've just used a Sharpie to draw them out, and then I've grabbed a fluffy blanket just from Shein to measure that the edges are going to be correct. I'm using a cheap gel polish of Amazon from Beetles to fill in the ears and curing them for 60 seconds, applying the layers as needed, and then finishing with a top coat to seal that all in. Now we're going to grab the glue gun, heat it up, and glue on the cutout fabric from the blanket all the way around the edge so it's sealed like this for the ear. You're going to repeat the steps on the other ear until you've got a set, and then you're going to grab a wide hard headband and wrap another strip of fabric around the headband and glue gun into place, and then finally glue the ears onto that, and that is the headpiece all made. So you're ready to turn yourself into Labubu now. So first of all, I'm making sure my hair is tied up, and then I'm grabbing some saran wrap or cling film, just measuring roughly how much I'll need and tearing that off and securing that in place around my bun, removing my earrings so that they don't get any latex or anything on, and grabbing my Kryolan Prosaide and the end of a paintbrush and just applying that under the cling film and tapping that in place to make the edges sealed. Now grabbing a purple Elmer's glue stick and brushing those brows all the way through. This is the start of your colour blocking. Using the Mehron powder to set this. This is the translucent powder, no colour powder, and just dusting that off, setting them in place before going in with my concealer. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in shade C3, and I'm using a little face brush for this just to pat that all in, make sure they're fully covered, and then doing in between the brows, around the forehead, and then covering the eyes and the under eye area as well. Patting that in so that it's all concealed and we've got an even base to begin. Powdering that again with the Mehron Colour Set powder and making sure there is no tackiness remaining. Now I'm using a black eyeliner, any will do, and I am just carving out the shape of the Labubu eyes, making sure they're roughly level, and then this just gives me an outline on where to paint them. I'm now grabbing some more cardboard and measuring out and cutting the shape of my face, because Labubus have a wide face, so you need to widen that out. Now they're cut in place, using some Cellotape to secure the back, attaching the other bit of the tape to the back of the cling film on my head, and repeating this on the other side. I'm using the medical micropore tape just to secure the front and create a seamless blend, and adding further security to them. Once you've done both sides, you'll look a little like this. I'm taking the Mehron Paradise paint, the water activated ones, and Essentials by Samantha Helen liner brush to fill in this with all white. And then I'm going in with the black to make the pupils. And now use the end of a paintbrush to create the white sparkly dots in the eyes. This will just get you an even circle, and then use a smaller one to do the smaller dots. Going in with the BPerfect Cosmetics Carnival palette, the Antidote one, and using the black shade and a fluffy eyeshadow brush, I am just messily blending the black all over the eyelid. This is just so that when the eye flaps are down later on, you won't be able to see the eyes. Grabbing that same liner from before as well in black and just filling in that waterline. Grabbing some liquid latex and a sponge, I'm applying this all over the top of my head and on the cardboard, and I'm going in with Prosaide on a brush to do the exact same thing, making sure my face is filled so that this clay will stick to it. This is the Crayola Clay. It's literally like child's play and eventually it air dries hard, but you've got plenty of hours to work with this, so it's great to use as a prosthetic if you don't want to have to sculpt everything in advance. So I'm just roughly placing everything, make sure I can breathe, adding a few holes to the nose and mouth, and then smoothing this all out with some water to give a smoother appearance. This is the bit that takes a while, is making sure it all goes smooth. But eventually it smooths out and you can move on to makeup. This is also quite heavy, so warning for that. Make sure the eyelids are right because they hang over, and adding the little nose as well. Now closing up the mouth more and using scissors to cut where the teeth will attach to later on. This can get a bit fiddly, but just bear with it. I'm now tucking in the clay over my lips. Using the Airbrush Flawless Filter Foundation and the MAC Face and Body Radiance in the palest shades, so shade 1 in the Charlotte Tilbury and C1 in the MAC. I'm applying this with a fluffy brush all over the face for a thick, full coverage but slightly glowy look. And applying this literally all over that clay to add that creepy little skin tone that these Labubus have. Now going in with a dark shade from that same eyeshadow palette from earlier and colouring in the nose. This is with a tiny little eyeshadow brush. I'm doing under the eye flaps, around the hollows of the eyes of the clay as well to add some depth. I've turned the flaps up so that I can see whilst doing all this. I'm just doing around the mouth as well to add dimension, and then taking the black shade to colour in all the lips and further along that mouth to deepen the crease. I'm now measuring that same blanket from earlier, where I need to cut, how much I need to cut so that I can attach it to the face, making sure that it will wrap around, and use some scissors to cut a large strip of this fabric. Now that I've got the strip, I'm placing it back into place and then grabbing my hot glue gun. So you need to make sure you are only applying this to the clay or the cardboard. You do not need to burn this onto yourself whatsoever. Now attaching this, holding it in place until it's all sealed down the edges, making some strategic folds to make it wrap around that odd shape that they have. And it's going to start to look a little bit like E.T. wrapped in a blanket. Now for the teeth, going back in with some more of that clay, leaving them white, creating little triangles and just sticking that on. It will still stick to the clay at this moment, so you don't need any Prosaide or anything. Going back in with my black face paint and that liner brush again, just creating that black line all the way along the top of the teeth and then filling in the lips underneath. I'm taking a Made by Mitchell blush stick now. This is one of the cream blushes. I'm patting that in all over the high cheek area, wrapping myself in another blanket, putting the eye flaps down, and you are officially a Labubu. What can I say? What a dramatic way to start Halloween. I hope you have the best Halloween season, and I'll be back again for another video very soon. Make sure you hit subscribe, give this video a like, and turn on notifications to be told every single time that I upload. Bye!